Hello guys, today I'm going to be doing a video on Sons of the Forest with the GTX 1050 Ti. We're going to be starting it off at 1080p at the very low settings. Here we are at the ultra low preset, scrolling down, using TAA, and everything else looking good. And yeah, let's jump into it so we can get. Here we are with our previous save. On my actual save, I'm like towards the end of the game pretty much, got most of the gear, but on this world, on this computer, whoa. We're sitting at the start of the game with that little tree house just chilling. And this guy is still here. Look at that pop-in though, look at that. That's an insane pop-in. Wow, that is not so good. Let's bring out our backpack and heal up before we get killed. Pop some pills. The FPS is going to be sitting pretty much at 40 to 50 FPS, which is pretty decent. It's definitely playable, but the quality of the game doesn't look the best. We're getting a bit of stuttering as well, unfortunately. Look at this guy, man. Hey, back up. We can use FSR as well in this game, and TAAU, I think is what it's called. The upscaler, which looks better than FSR in my opinion, and FPS wise it's pretty similar, maybe a bit lower, but it does look better in my opinion. So we're going to be testing out both of them as well, and hopefully we can get a stable 50 to 60 FPS experience with decent looking graphics. Right, looking back over the map, we're getting 37 FPS. This is absolutely the lowest FPS that we've gotten so far, but again on average sitting at the 40s and 50s. Going in the water, 33 FPS is the lowest now in the water and looking over the map. Very intensive. VRAM is fully utilized as well. We have 3.9 gigs out of 4, but I'm not really surprised. This game uses up to 6 gigs, I think, 6.5 gigs on the 3060 Ti, and 7.5 gigs on the 3080, I believe. Alright, there's a camp here. There was a guy here before, but he's gone hunting, I think. So I'm gonna go steal his stuff before he comes back. Yes, free loot. Don't mind if I do. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh my god, I thought I heard someone. Oh, there he is. That guy scared me. Look, he was walking just there. Okay, let's steal the loot and get out of here. You guys got anything else over here or what? Just rope? Cool. Very laggy in this camp, man. It's feeling very stuttery in this little area of the game. Yes. Okay, let's go sit in this little throne and piss him off real quick. This is my seat now. You don't come over here. This is my camp and my seat. Okay, let's get out of here before he sees us over there. Oh. He's coming back. I'm gonna be going, okay? I was just here looking around. Not a new camp, obviously. I wouldn't do that. Okay, let's pause the game, enable FSR, and see what we can get with that. Alright, here we are in the forest, sitting in the mid 40s / the mid 50s. This area is a bit more intensive with all the foliage around, so I think, ooh, yeah, 34 FPS in this area anyway, 37 FPS. Yeah, regardless of FSR, we are still falling down into the 30s, unfortunately, but the VRAM is down to 3.8 gigs instead of 3.9 gigs. It's running okay. The graphics look a bit worse, obviously, especially around the leaves of the trees. As you can see, they look very, I guess, Play-Doh-y. It looks very over-sharpened, and can't really see each leaf by itself. It looks all blended into each other, which isn't really a great look. Getting a bit of ghosting around the cannibal as well. It's very obvious. He's got a fat outline around him as he's running. Look at this pop-in though. Look at that. You can see him and now you can't. You can see him. Right, here we are with TAAU, targeting 60 FPS, and now we're sitting in the low to mid 50s and down into the mid 30s depending on where we're looking. The game, in my opinion, looks far better with TAAU. And FPS wise, it's very similar. Wow, up to the 60s in this area almost. That was very close to it. So, FPS wise, it's doing a bit better actually. And the quality looks way better in my opinion. Like the trees over here look very good. The leaves actually look like leaves instead of, you know, just a green blob that's over sharpened. It's honestly not too bad. We are very close to 60 FPS now. And the clarity is still there from 1080p. So, it's honestly, I think, the way to go. The pop-in is a bit annoying. So maybe increasing up our render distance would be a good idea as well. But overall, the game's looking good and running decently well as well. Okay, let's push it up to the low settings and continue on from there. Alright, here we are at the low preset, 1080p, getting 34 FPS. So we lost, what, like 20 FPS from very low with TAAU to low settings without TAAU. And the quality honestly looks a bit better, it looks more sharper, but not really too playable. Yeah, falling to the mid 20s when I'm looking back. Yeah. Not the best performing game, to be honest. And the pop-in is honestly still the same as very low, so you're not really gaining anything extra from this. So yeah, low settings, honestly, not really worth using for this card. I think a mix of very low settings with high render distance is the way to go. But yeah, let's enable TAAU. Maybe we can recover with that. Now with TAAU, we are sitting at 60 FPS again. Wow, we gained like 20 to 30 FPS so easily. The game doesn't look as sharp as native 1080p, obviously. It looks a bit softer, but FPS wise, it is running beautifully right now. We still have some dips into the 40s, unfortunately. It's not a consistent 60 FPS experience, but it's far better than running the game at native 1080p. And the main issue with this card is looking over the map. The more you have on screen at once, the more intensive it's going to be for the card, so your FPS will fall into the 40s and 30s like that. But, you know, playing normally away from, I guess, the whole map, your FPS should be sitting in the 50s and 60s just fine. Alright, here we are, the medium settings. Scrolling down, there we go. Okay, now we're playing the game at 20 FPS. The game honestly looks way better. The difference between low and medium in this game is so obvious. The grass looks more dense. Coloring looks different as well, to be honest. I think it's the lighting that's different. But yeah, overall, it's looking far better in my opinion. But FPS wise, we lost around, what, 12 FPS? Whoa, 18 FPS down here. That is very choppy, man. 20 FPS feels very stuttery and very laggy. Yeah, not so good. Alright, let's enable TAAU and see what we can get with that. Okay, with TAAU in this area, we're sitting at 37 FPS, 38 FPS. It's honestly it's far smoother, that's for sure. But, I mean, 40 FPS for this kind of game, it's still playable actually, I guess. Not too bad. The trees look pretty bad, to be honest, from here. The trees look pretty awful. They look very shimmery. And are we getting any smearing with the tree? Not really sure yet, but yeah, the trees look pretty bad. FPS wise, we are going to be falling down into the low 30s, which is very close to the 20s. So that's why the medium settings is not the way to go. And finally, at the high settings, we're going to be sitting at 20 FPS. So very close to the medium settings pretty much, or very similar to the medium settings. Okay. Look at this. Look how choppy this is, man. 17 FPS. It's looking real bad at this point. Real bad. But I'm guessing with TAAU, we can probably get 30 to 35 FPS just fine. Alright, and here we are with TAAU. We're going to be sitting at 30 FPS. So we gained, what, around 12 FPS from what we had before. It's a pretty decent increase, but again, very similar to the medium settings. So it's not really worth using. Alright, and here we are with the optimized settings. Playing the game at a mix of low, medium, and ultra low. Here we are with that. And TAAU obviously as well at 60 FPS. I'm aiming at 40 to 50 FPS experience at this point. You might hit 60 at times in some areas, but for 1080p it will be far too intensive. I think ideally for this card I would play at 900p with these settings, and your FPS will be a bit higher than this. But for 1080p, 40 to 50 FPS is quite playable and quite usable. And as you can see, the pop-in isn't as obvious as the low settings, so the game is looking far better, and FPS wise we are a bit lower, but still in a playable range that you will have a good time playing this game. Alright, that's about it guys. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time for the next video. See you guys there.